Oh, I made no mistake. And we're live. What's happening, my brother? How are you, Michael?
Very well, Mr. Tavi. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's the second week of February. Lots going on. Chinese New Year's upon us. As you go for our industry, a lot is happening. A lot's going to happen. So, but yeah, it's been good. It's good catching up with you. It's good. I think we did this about 6 months ago, and a lot has happened.
Oh, the market is booming. I think everyone's having the most busiest last 5 weeks than they did in the whole 2020.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of things coming in. I think projects are coming in, a lot of business coming in, a lot of quotes, a lot of things. Of course, everybody knows. I mean, it's public knowledge. I mean, the worldwide production shortage of allocation and things are going to that place is it's really getting into the nitty gritty of productions, downtimes, automotive factories are shutting down because they can't get components. And what does that mean for the industry? I mean, we can go over a lot of this stuff, but overall, I just want to get a little update with you, Michael, and see how are you doing, man? How's everything going on over there in the UK? How's
not bad.
Business? How's the business going on?
It's been an interesting time, hasn't it? The communication that we've had within this general market has been phenomenal. Everyone's still talking to everyone. Everyone's still trying to help one another out. But it's kind of like you have to go back to the grassroots to understand what's the fundamentals about how we're going to grow ourselves as individuals, because people are now starting to look at what does the world have to offer me, not what can I give a client now. So people want that flexibility. They're enjoying the family time.
Yeah,
they want to have that closure and sort of like, let's get together, let's have a bit of fun, let's have that engagement. But we need to work as well. We'll do that in the background, sort of thing.
Correct. And, that's what I see is what's going on with the industry. I mean, so I want to understand, it's like, what are you right now? I mean, from your insight of what's going on in the industry, what are your insights? What you getting from the people out there the last 6 months between in the current electronics market trends and also from the employment side? What's going on your end?
It's been a real roller coaster, isn't it? So people have had that understanding of, okay, there's a furlough scheme in here, so dare I say we have that bit of a safety blanket to understand how we're moving forward, what we're going to do. We can be a little bit more cautious about how we're going to present ourselves. But I'm understanding from the people I talk to, obviously the client owners and the candidates within the market, from September on to about December, it got very busy last year. Very, very busy. Prior to September, there was like tumbleweed everywhere. So it took an absolute massive turn from one extreme to another. Coming to December, people are saying they've had their best months ever. Quarter one has been phenomenal for most. We are seeing, and again, I don't want to be too biased, but the independent distribution market is leading the way slightly because, dare I say, they have more capabilities to go to market to find that obsolescent stock that the client's desperate for at the moment so they can get the next batch of production out. So they are leading the way slightly. It happens every time. The franchise guys be straight on their derriere when we get closer in the year. So it will swing around abouts. But you'll know from obviously lead times, trying to get to market, trying to understand which sectors are going to be more buoyant than most this year. It's whoever's got a crystal ball, I want an update. I need to know exactly what these people are thinking because it's not clear. It's not understood. People still have the uncertainty, but we're busy. We're very, very busy.
Yeah. I mean, I can say as for the same too, as everybody's busy. And I think the industry has changed. The industry is evolving. People are still running a little bit to figure out how do we change? How do we get new customers? How do we do the supply chains changing? Everything's gone digital. Everybody has stocking distributors buying everything online. But at the end of the day, as you said, the independents, the hybrid distributors are people coming in. It's like there's a big demand right now. And a lot of the big tier, the top tier one distribution are having challenges because they don't have all the services. They only have certain products. They can only do certain things. They're limited in scale because there's a lot of layers and corporate layers. But again, they're powerhouses because they have all the stock. They carry it. They have the interfaces. But again, the smaller players are also having to pivot too. They need to go digital. They need to build, like for ourselves, we're building a full new digital platform. Hopefully, my goal is by mid 2021, we'll have a whole new face and refresh and internet. But you need to go digital. And that's the number one thing that I've been seeing is not just we want a prospect, but we need to go digital to be able to touch more people, to have that presence and the prospect and get it. And it comes with the change of mindset of how we go to market, right?
So I mean, we talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
So it's been an innovator in the market. So if you're going to do the same things over and over and over again, expect the same results. As the old quote say, was it Einstein's
Einstein theory.
famous quote?
That's Einstein's theory. Yeah.
It's 100% true. The market
Yeah.
has changed, whether or not people want to admit it or not. There's a lot of people out there who are self-confessed dinosaurs when it comes to technology. These guys are pioneering at the moment. I've never seen so many hungry people get onto the digital platforms. So you and I talk about all the time, the digital revolution is 100% here. If you try to do video meetings back in 2019, people will be like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'll come and meet you. Let's go for a coffee. Let's go for a drink. So it's forever changing. And like you said, unless you innovate and move with the times, you will be left behind.
Yeah, and that's the biggest challenge, I think, in our industry, electronics, distribution, supply chain.
Yeah.
As much as we are the innovators and not engineers and innovators, we are kind of behind on the new trends of marketing and go-to-market sales, prospecting, because it is an older generation, older style, and it's now in that pivotal moment of switching and of changing, and people don't know what to do, because before people hide behind the phones, hide behind this, even though we've gone virtual in 2020 went virtual, but a lot of people didn't so much. They still were a little hiding behind it. They weren't really want to put themselves out there, and LinkedIn has become so powerful for all industries, every industry. And it seems like our little industry has been, pulling back as much as it's still trying to find itself in the digital world.
I actually think it's doing very well. I think if you do a comparison to maybe some other industries in our world of global organizations, generally a lot of the leaders in the electronic component disti market have taken it by the horns and said, right, we're doing this. Remote working, that's great. We don't have internal sales or inside sales support now. Let's get them working from home. We can get Barbara doing this. We can get Clive doing that. It just seems like the communication platforms have opened, and dare I say, people are having to start to trust their employees to actually do what they say they're going to do. Like supply chain is phenomenally good at the moment in regards to
question right now. We got a question coming in. Let's see what it says. Is manufacturing back to full capacity in the UK?
No.
No.
No chance. I'll actually say, if you go on this lovely map behind me, the Asian market over here is doing very, very well. And then you've obviously got the United States, and everything on this side is doing great. But when it comes narrowed into the middle, it kind of gets busy, not so busy, not so busy, non-existent. So the UK will pick up. I would actually say we're about 2 months off, I think.
Okay.
So it really depends how the trends move. But I know Germany's extremely busy. We're getting a lot of referrals over in Germany for people looking for either account managers or BDMs. So, and the Asian market again is absolutely booming. But let's see what happens in a couple of weeks with the Chinese New Year.
Yeah. I mean, I think that also comes down to, because the lockdowns and all the things, the capacities and people wanting to work, and also it comes down, of course, the Chinese New Year and the component shortages. I mean, I know a lot of automotive industry, of course, essential. A lot of industry is essential, but they're not being able to get their supply chain. So that shut down certain lines, certain product lines, and same thing we have here. So much as we are full-fledged here in the US, they're moving. I mean, our manufacturing is moving. The challenge is now is the people, the people. And that's where we're all talking about is people, is recruitment, is processes. So let's get to that topic. Is how do you see that moving and shifting to also, we can break this down a couple layers into positions do you see are open? What type of skill sets are coming in? What are people expanding, or they're just internal, or what do you see happening in the marketplace?
It's quite interesting because you normally see a pattern throughout a 12-month cycle of internal sales to field application engineers to BDMs to account managers. There's normally quite a good pattern throughout the year, but that's completely gone out the window. So at the moment with the surge, because we are getting busy, it seems to be more biased to business development. So they are looking for individuals who have the experience either in an independent market or franchise distribution to be able to almost bring relationships with them, because the same saying is still there. People buy from people. So they are looking for someone who can come on board and add value. That seems to be the way that most companies are going. I honestly think in 6 months' time, we're going to go and switch over to technical sales. So when the production's there, demand creation is going to come into its own element again. So you're going to find a lot more internal sales engineers, so technically biased people, and FAE, field application engineers. So the difference is, and the biggest trend I've seen in the market now is a lot of clients are looking for candidates that can bring value, but a lot of candidates are looking for clients to bring flexibility.
Okay.
So if you want to go and work for someone like IBS and you're trying to pitch the opportunity of where you're going to invest your time, candidates now want, Rob, can I please have flexibility to work 4 days a week? Or can I take a lower base commission or a lower base salary, and I would rather take less money and have a little bit more home time?
So that work-life balance, that work-life has
huge.
So that, huge. I mean, that's the first time I really hear it. I mean, from your industry and the people you talk to. So you see, that's a big factor now with people choosing with the flexibility. Of course, you have the home, I mean, work from home life of that, but they're also saying that the hours or the days, they want more flexibility.
Yes, 100%. So a lot of people we've seen, unfortunately, when it all did kick off and the pandemic hit the UK, Europe, and the US, and all other countries involved, you saw some, dare I say, some of the senior directors unfortunately be made redundant, and then they're going off doing delivery driving jobs, whatever they need to do to obviously get themselves through the next few months. Those people are going to come back into the market. The expertise are going to come back. So what we need now is a diversity of who wants to do what. Where's the work-life balance? What companies are going to be different? Because there's a lot of companies out there preaching 4-day weeks. They're saying we can do this, we can do that. And they're trying to be a little bit more personable to their employees now. Instead of it being, what can you do for me? Show me what you can do. What's your experience?
Yeah, because that's one thing. If I look at the other side of that, as the customer side, because these days, everything's customer experience, right?
Yes.
Our company ourselves is the customer experience we give to the customer and the immediate response time. And when you start changing work hours or work things, especially on the sales side, internal maybe can happen on the sales side. There are instances that you'll have gaps, and those customers that try to reach out to you or try to get to you when that flexibility time of one of your sales account managers is off is a challenge, because they want response now. They want immediate acknowledgement, and that kind of changes the customer experience, because the customer itself, I put myself, because they want it now. Everything is now or yesterday. They want that experience. They want to be their handheld. They want to vent. There are so many. So many requests from customers these days. It's amazing. And because I think the digital change has that, they want everything's instant now. It's the Amazon experience. That's the Amazon way. I mean, if you've ever read that book, the Amazon way, they set it up, but everything is about the experience. Everything's measured. How fast can you respond, the time and turnaround? And then that kind of conflicts with what the request of the new teams or new recruitment is, or some of the people. They want 4-day work weeks. They want more flexibility.
Yes.
That kind of detaches them from being able to give that ultimate experience to their customer, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think it will change again. I think because we've been in the national lockdowns where you've had to be at home, you've had to adapt quite quickly. Dare I say, people are adapting to this quite nicely, but I think the easiest way to say it is people are going to start missing the camaraderie of being in an office and being with their colleagues, being with the people that they enjoy actually working with. So that will change, but I think we're still going to be in the same ruts until sort of May, June this year, where there's going to be working from home, be as flexible as you can. We'll be understanding. You support us, we support you. That sort of mentality. I think it's fundamental. Absolutely fundamental. Just on one point, we've had a few occasions actually over the last couple of months where clients have made, I want to say this nicely, they've made sort of allegations of, I can be quite picky about the certain people that I want to interview for my organization because it's a candidate-rich market. But I dare say it's never been a candidate-rich market. Even when people have been made redundant, it's still hard to find people with the relevant skill set and experience that will fit into your culture and organization. So we kind of need to get away from that sort of mindset of, if I want to, I can interview 10 people and find the right person. You'll be lucky to get 3 or 4 decent interviewers who know what they're doing and how to go to market. So I think clients, dare I say, need to come away from that mentality of thinking they've got the pick of the crop, because there's still a shortage out there.
Yeah, there is. And I think it's also the lack of some of the skill sets of some of the time, and depending upon position. I mean, even I can give you an example for our office. I need to go back, take a step back of sales.
Yeah.
We all want to increase our sales, increase our bandwidth, increase our touch points to be able to get more exposure.
Of course.
But the challenge is when we're outside the office and working from home during the last year, and it's hard to bring that environment of affirmation, of empowerment, of I think we're all doing it together, guys. Oh, I sent this video out. I sent this prospects because I'm learning. Even though we have virtual it's still, you lose that energy because you're sitting at home. And that's my opinion, as everybody has a different take on it.
Yeah.
My opinion is I need to have the workforce, majority of the salespeople, together, close together, so we can have these energized meetings, these challenges, and share experiences or things right away. Some of the things that worked, instant gratification, and that builds more morale. It builds energy, and it builds it going forward. But when we went to work from home, it kind of took that energy out. People who had current businesses or current clients, they could still talk, but the energy of evolution, of new skills. I'm being pushed because sometimes people I need to be pushed. I push myself, but I also get pushed by others because I'm curious, right? Yes. But some others generally aren't so curious. You kind of have to sometimes force it and show them and put the carrot out there.
The worries.
Yeah. These are the little challenges that as a recruitment comes in. I think in any industry, that's having that kind of challenge. It's like, how do we bring on the skills, people from the entry level to mid-level to high level. High level, I mean, these guys should have the skill set, but the entry level, bringing the new generation, as you know, we're talking about.
I think that's a good point. New generation, that is fundamental moving forward. So I know you've got some very interesting insights to how you're going to get these sort of new generation of, I want to call them sales marketeers, because all the new people coming into the market are marketeers. They're people that know how to use social media platforms to a very good level. So it's, again, marketing is going to be key in any of this. So I'll be interested to know how you're going to do that in your next generation.
Yeah, I mean, I have a question for you. I mean, when some of these companies you work with, have they ever brought up like brand, or how the recruitment of branding their company and branding the salesperson or people working? Has that conversation come up on the branding aspect?
Only recently. So if you 2 years ago, not in a million years, clients were just more interested about, let's get people in and let's get, dare I say, plug and plays, people that can come in and crack on with the job. I think people are becoming a little bit more smarter with the digital revolution to have salespeople that can also give brand value. Having that marketing, getting people following their LinkedIn page, actually putting content out on LinkedIn that's relevant and people want to read. It's just being relevant. I think most companies are now starting to pay attention, and they know, as much as they can get sales, the long-term ambition is to have sustainable sales. And you're only going to do that by building a brand. Hence what we do as a recruitment agency, what you guys do as a component distributor. You're nothing without a brand. And I think that's fundamentally important. That's why everyone needs to get on the bus and be in the same direction.
Yeah. That brand, I mean, you nailed it. You hit on the head right there. The brand is big. The personal brand and the company brand should be synonymous together. But at the end of the day, it's who is Michael Roberts? Oh, what brand is he? And then who you work with, right? And these are things that but that putting yourself out there and people know they can recognize it. And then when you contact somebody, they go, oh, I saw something of yours, or I heard about your company, I've heard about you. That actually earns you time. It gives you their time, or actually even give you a seat at the table to even be able to pitch them to sell them a product, to get that requirement, to get that information. That is the brand recognition out there. And it comes to, as I said, for me, is like, how many of your companies you work with, do they audit their LinkedIns? Do they have a LinkedIn profile? Do they have social media feeds? Do they have a brand? Is that required now?
I think it is 100% what they're doing moving forward. Interestingly, most people haven't actually had a brand awareness. The simple thing like a business page on LinkedIn can be very powerful if you use it correctly. Having a following, people generally interested in what you actually do on LinkedIn and how it moves. Clients are definitely moving that way. They're even building divisions. So marketing assistants, digital marketing pioneers, all this. It's a different sort of platform now of how they're actually going to build a different division towards sales.
That you brought up a good topic. So how many requests do you have for digital marketing? Find digital marketing recruits for.
it's you and I were talking about this not so long ago, actually, literally the other day. So in order to build a platform in any part of the world, you need a network. And to build a network like we want to build, so Michael Roberts Solutions Limited, the reason we were created is we wanted to build a community within the electronic component distribution market. It's under-resourced. You don't get enough exposure out in the market because the OEMs normally get the bulk of everything that's going out there. I love this market. It's very incestuous. Everyone knows everyone. So brand awareness is your personal branding. You are the face of your own company, every single person. So it's kind of like building a community in different parts of the world. You need to understand, build up credibility and build up a network. And you're only going to do that by actually knowing what people want to hear and the actual details of what the industry are moving, how it's moving, what they're doing. So it's fundamental building a network of being relevant and build a community. And I promise you now, within my lifetime, I will make sure there is a online portal community for the electronic component distribution market. And I hope I can fulfill that. I will do my absolute most.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that comes to digital marketing, but the question I have is also comes back to: are companies now investing in the new employees? Are they investing the skill set to bring this up, to bring this type of skill set up?
I don't think they are yet.
Okay.
I haven't had many requests come through. I probably can count on one hand how many people have actually mentioned it. I know internally they're having conversations about how they're going to build it. But I haven't had the requirements come through yet to say, Michael, can we identify which people in the market can do this, this, and this within our digital marketing? So I think it's on the curve. I don't think it's quite there yet. But again, you'll probably know a little bit better than me if you're doing all the marketing internally as well, how far you think you're away and actually building that brand awareness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the brand, it comes with it because everybody has the brand, but I think it all depends upon the sector of, let's take an electronics industry. Are you a manufacturer? Are you a franchise global distributor?
Yep.
Are you a trading company or independent broker or in this? And that there's a lot to that because you can really see I've gone to a lot of suppliers' websites or a lot of people's websites, and you like, wow, this was built in 2005. Like
you can't tell what they do anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. But see that it's all changed because just the presence and my to give you my perspective is if you Google someone's name, you should be able to the company's name or a sales account outside an external sales account manager. If you Google their name, you should be able to find their DNA, everything they do, everything they've done. Because I can really find it on anybody I want to. You can put Michael Roberts. I can probably go to UK and find information of who's your aunt, uncle. You can find that now, right? You can find all that. You can, but then people try to hide their credentials or the information of where they worked before. Which that's the pivot where I think we're at that pivotal change where your DNA needs to be on the World Wide Web. If you want to have any type of success or any type of sales success of who are you, what do you do, and what accolades or credentials or information or videos or sources do you have on the web, and they're going to profile you within 30 to 60 seconds once they Google your name. Oh, this guy's credible. I don't see anything about this guy. Right.
Yeah, I challenge any employer to say they have not hired anyone off the back of looking at someone's Facebook or LinkedIn account or looking at seeing what sort of public domain image they've got out there.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them done.
Yeah, and I think that's getting more and more powerful. And I kind of lead that by example for our team. I'm like, well, you can Google my name, Rob Tavi, or IBS Electronics, and you can see everything. You can see all my videos. You can see content from years when I start. You can see everything, and that's at least that when anybody Google, like, oh, this is a real person. Oh, this guy is doing something. Oh, wow. These are things that builds mind space of giving that credibility that this person is real. They're putting information, putting content, and you know what? I'll give 5 minutes of my time to this person just to listen to them. Or, I want to do business, or I like this image, or because not everybody's going to like you.
No.
At the end of the day, right? Not everybody's going to like your face. Not everybody. These are things where not everybody's going to like the tone, how you articulate, how you speak, and so these are types of things that come into thing of recruitment of how do we find the new generation coming in. And from what I'm doing is everybody that comes, I'm saying, you're going to build a brand. I'm going to build a brand around you. You be prepared to put yourself out there, to get uncomfortable, put yourself out there. Yeah. If you're not, then this is not for you. This sales position or external, maybe you're good at accounting. Maybe you're good at a warehouse or an internal job that's no such customer facing. Because if you're customer facing, your vendor face, whatever your face, you need to be out there. And especially we're in that pivotal moment that everything is, where all our profiles are at, we need to be. Social media, yeah, you can block it, you can show it, your personal stuff. I understand. But your business
Yeah,
side has to be out there.
it is true. And it's true. It's still that likability and that authenticity sort of factor as well. How many people have you employed who can do the job stand on their head, but you just generally don't like them, you just don't think they fit the culture? It's always going to be fundamental. I know a lot of clients, when I get a job description, they don't care what industry they've worked in because they can teach skills. They can't teach the attention to detail. They can't teach the enthusiasm, the drive, the energy, the likability factor, because that's still key.
Yeah.
So I challenge any employer to take on someone who they know can bring in a lot of money, but you just can't stand talking to them because they're just not the sort of people you want to get on board with. And unfortunately, there's a few people out there. There are a few people.
Yeah. How do you think, the question is right now in the electronic supply chain or component industry?
Yeah.
How is how many people or percentage of people are looking to change jobs, new jobs, or trying to move? What do you see?
I was literally, I think it was yesterday, trying to look at the stats for this, and there's no real data points you can grab hold of this. From personal experience, we've had a couple of offers recently they've rejected the offer at the final stages because, I don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to go into another national lockdown? The uncertainty is always going to kill any sort of employment opportunities for clients. I think that's going to be a key point to anyone. But there are people looking. There's some passive. I'm not sure if my company's going in the right direction of where I want to go. No disrespect to the client, but I feel like it's not the direction that I want to go. So people starting to look internally and say, do I see myself being here for the next 5 to 10 years? Maybe, maybe not. Do you know what? Let's have a look in the market. Let's give Michael a call and see what is actually out there. And I do get a lot of people, dare I say, dipping their toe in the water to see who's out there, what can they do, what sort of jobs are out there. But getting people to commit to actually moving jobs at the moment is very, very hard. Very, very hard. So I think the uncertainty is still a massive player in this factor. Massive.
Yeah, I mean, how are the packages? Do you think they're working from home or the new generation or companies are restructuring the way they create packages or compensation from top management down to sales? I mean, everybody's realizing, wait a minute. I mean, are we paying too low or are we paying too high? You see that happening?
Yes, the incentive plans for travel.
Yeah.
There's no incentive plans anymore. So it's we're going to give you a company car. What for? I'm not going to be able to drive it. Okay, I'll give you a car allowance. Okay, that's money in my back pocket. I'll take that. But companies have been a little bit smarter. If you have to go and visit clients, then they'll give you some sort of travel expense. They don't need to pay a car allowance anymore. But that's not reflected into the base salaries. So the base salaries haven't really changed. If anything, they've probably gone about 10% lower. So dare I say, back to what I said earlier, the clients are trying to get a little bit more value for money. And to be fair, the candidates just want the flexibility to work from home. They haven't got to commute anymore. So that's an extra hour and a half per day they can put back into their job. But I honestly think people are going to get bored. I think they're going to get sick and tired of working from home and want to get back in so they can rub shoulders with you, Rob, and understand what makes you tick. How was your weekend? How's the wife? How's the kids? What have you been doing? They kind of miss that sort of interaction. Small talk, I'll probably call it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I've seen it too. But it's seeing people come in, and of course, sometimes they just want the compensation packages. They want to get, and everybody thinks about what happened yesterday, last year, 2 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, with the successes that came in. And that's the biggest challenge I find is everybody talks about the past, but everybody talks about the future. I did this, but what have you changed for today's skill set that has allowed you to be able to evolve? Yeah, what you did in the traditional ways of sales, door to door, go door to door sales, or just having relationship, or just talking to people, telephone, email. It worked back then, but today, just to get mind share, to even see that you're there, it's completely changed. And that's why, I mean, we're talking right now on a podcast, going live on LinkedIn. We're going live. This is something that, I never did, talking about really what's going on. And you see the people, the new people coming to the market or changing jobs and thinking that they could be successful off the skills they knew before, and not really investing in themselves to evolve to the current standards of getting uncomfortable. Because when people are comfortable, they don't evolve. When people are comfortable, that's when you evolve.
Yes. It's quite an interesting point there. But would you not push that back to maybe the employer to incentivize the employee to do a little bit more above and beyond, to get them to be part of the journey, the innovation journey?
Leading by example.
Yes.
Right? That for me, it's leading by example. I cannot tell my team to do something that I haven't experienced myself or shown them to do. And that's why I think a lot of leaders, or, go to corporate area, a lot of the things that going back to like the Elon Musk, I would say the top guys, really, he is fully involved in everything. He can tell you full production about everything that goes on. Then you talk to the CEO of another bit high automotive company. They have no idea what's going on in production. They have to totally disconnect it. See, that really brings that you lead by example and understand the processes through everything as process improvement. And then people see that and say, oh, I can do that, or I can try that, or open to that, instead of just telling them, you do this, I need you to do this, and not putting their feet there while themselves, right? That management style structure has completely changed I think from the balance, because that's what it was. It was a very, I would say, vertical management style in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Now today, the change of the workforce, millennials, now the X and the succession of the boomers are going to be having succession to everything's changing. The new Y generation, everybody coming in, it's completely, everything's very horizontal, work-life balance. And they don't want to be the only person doing it. They want everybody joining as a team. And it's hard to do things as a team when you're remote. It's hard to lead by example when you're remote. It's hard to figure things out. And that's the learning curve that I think that a lot of companies the challenges they're having is, how do we lead by example by showing them, but doing it remotely, and it's tough.
It's ridiculously tough. If you think like American Undercover Boss, have you ever watched that program?
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. Imagine every CEO or sales director or any director level person within an organization, a corporate organization, because the smaller entities obviously know the processes quite intimately. So someone on a corporate level going back down to basics, and you're absolutely 100% right. It's the systematical approach to how are we going to generate new sales, having a workforce that's not at our fingertips. It's that element of trust, then giving your guys that autonomy to make their job their own. People love it. People want to get entwined and involved in their work. Again, a lot of people love what they do. I've met a lot of interesting people in this market who generally love servicing their clients, love being a resourceful person, finding those components that Joe Bloggs down the road couldn't find, because you come to me every time because I'm the best. That sort of attitude, that sort of mentality. But 100%, the pioneers are the business leaders. If the business leaders are not getting it right now, unfortunately, you are going to suffer short term, because everyone always adapts. You're going to suffer short term attracting the better staff if you are looking to build a new sales team or build a new division, because people do pay attention to this, and it is fundamental and part of the processes. Processes, system, processes. That is a massive way forward. 100% way forward.
And I 100% agree about that. Everything's a process system. And also at the end of the day is you need to put yourself where the people are at. You need to put yourself in the pool of where the people are at. And I think in the past, a lot of people weren't doing that as much. Now with technology, I think it's much easier. You can put yourself in any seminar, anything virtually, anywhere, and contact anybody much easier. Before you went to a trade show and there was tens of thousands of people, you can't really put yourself in the middle. Everybody look at me. You'd have to network, but a lot of people don't. But at the end of the day, it's like today, I think it's the easiest place, especially with digital world and social media and all the things we have. Put yourself where the people are at. And ask the leaders, connect, share information and put yourself out there to learn and stay curious. And that's the one thing I think is people have, either it's the self-esteem or the confidence that they think they know.
You need to be brave. You need to be brave to make these.
Brave, but being brave and asking questions is how we learn. Right.
And don't be afraid of failing. God knows how many times I've got on a video call and said the wrong thing because I'm just trying to get my opinion across. I'm really bad with words at the best of times. So don't worry about messing it up. At the end of the day, sometimes it works to your advantage because you're just a human being giving authenticity to something you love doing. Just be yourself. If they don't like that, then move on to the next one who will like it. There's a lot of business out there for everyone. You don't need to win them all.
Yeah, that's what comes to like now. What are you seeing as the in the industry? What are the positions of highest demand? What do you see? Is it sales still, or are there other positions?
Yeah, account manager. When they call it account manager, it's actually business development manager. But they're going to inherit maybe a few accounts, so they're going to be 70% business development, 30% account management. That seems to be the normality at the moment. It's quite interesting. We call it the surge internally here at MR Solutions. So we're saying if you're a surfer and you feel the surge, we're about to crack over on a wave. So you've got to get your momentum, start building up, start splashing, getting onto the wave, and then ride the wave down. But unless you do that sort of paddling, that sort of continued effort every day, so we call it the compound effect. I don't know if you've read that book, which is amazing, by the way. Compound effect every day. Get the team on board, have clear structure about what you're trying to achieve, and just go and do it. Little bit by little bit. Don't try and conquer the world in one day.
So onto that, or since that's the highest position, what are the challenges that the employees are facing trying to get new business development people or with the current team?
I think it's getting commitment from the business development people that actually want to come across to the new clients. Mm-hmm. It's still uncertain. It's still massively uncertain. So if you're going to attract someone, 2 years ago, Rob, if you wanted to attract a very good salesperson, you could wave a bag of money in front of them and they'll be yours. It was quite simple in that respect. Now you've got to be a little bit different. So attracting new salespeople into the organization has to be autonomy of how you're going to build up your network. What clients can you actually generally bring on board now? Because not all industries are back up and running properly. So some people are doing the medical market, are having a great time of it at the moment. Some obviously doing the aerospace and defense. It's still doing well, but the aviation side, obviously, excuse the French, has got nosedives. So there's a lot of very good salespeople out there in markets that are not very buoyant. But when those markets become buoyant again, oh my God, these guys are going to be laughing. But at the moment, they're almost undesirables, which I think is a massive shame because these guys have so much potential, but they've just focused so much in one market, being micro niche in the industry, and it will pay dividends later in time. But unfortunately, in the short term, it's not. Yeah. But finding salespeople is going to be the biggest challenge for any company in 2021.
Yep. I 100% agree. As
together,
we've been doing it. We've been working together and seeing what the challenges are, because we see that the new talent or the new people, even come the management side, they don't have so many skill sets that the old traditional people, they can't do multitasks. And there are people still can do multitask, but they're mostly single task oriented to one position. If you ask them to wear multiple hats, they get confused. They say it's not my job, or this is not my responsibility. And that's, of course, that comes from culture, right? Yeah. Culture of doing it depends on the size, but it's like, I don't know that. I don't want to get involved with that. That's not my job. And in my opinion, it's like you stay curious, learn it, at least learn the processes, because the more information you learn, the more skill set you have, the higher you could kind of go in the totem pole of management skills, of delegation, of understanding of processes, of understanding how to read data, the data manage, all these things that come into play as a talk new generation. I'm like, you guys should learn everything from all the process. Even my father, he always says, like, start everybody work in the warehouse and move them through the whole company. Yeah. Because they know how everything operates. So they don't have to ask questions when something doesn't go right or something doesn't go wrong. They know how incoming, outgoing, they know the process, the QA, they know how purchasing works, they know the sales side, they know the finance side. If they don't get the whole scope of that, it's kind of hard to kind of understand and get your wraps around, because you're always blaming somebody else for a problem instead of saying, I understand. And then you can come across talking to the customer to get that information and sell them, hey, this is the challenge we're facing, this is what happened, and instead of getting as I said, talking to some of the big companies, like, why did my shipment go out? They don't know. They're completely disconnected. It was late. We had a shipment. What was the delay? Okay, thanks. But sometimes the companies want corrective actions. These things come into play. It's like, we're late. Companies you deal with, it's like, hey, we have a line down, especially in our industry. There's a problem. We want a corrective action. How are you going to fix this? We have a defect. So these are the things that, in my opinion, it doesn't matter how to call it, we should have that full 365 training, even though they don't need to do it, to understand the perspective, because the larger perspective you have, the better you can look at the different angles, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Task focused on the sales account manager, and all you're doing is focus on sales of hunting and trying to hunt and not understanding how anything else works, it's kind of hard for you to sell. You can have much more your power of a skill to sell that way.
I do love these phrases, hunter and farmers, because it kind of pigeonholes people into sort of what they can and can't do. To be fair, it works extremely well. And if I say to someone, "Are you a hunter? Do you want to go out and win business?" Yeah, I love doing that. Are you a farmer? Do you like taking care of business? Yeah, I love doing that. So, okay, we're trying to establish what you want to do. It's interesting because in an ideal world, you would love to get someone to work from the way up, but I think people are getting impatient now. I think they want to fast track their careers. They want to be at director level at the age of 30 years old. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that have done it, but unless you earn your stripes, just like if you was in the military, earn your stripes, understand the respect and the authority that you need to give to your co-workers, and becoming a valued member of society within your organization, I think is going to be paramount.
I think it comes to the aptitude of the person, what they can do. They think outside the box. You can do it at any age. The thing is aptitude of sacrifice. Yeah. And a lot of people, the work life, the balance, they don't want to sacrifice as much, because you have to sacrifice in the beginning. You have to sacrifice to get results at the end, where you can become that more flexible thing. And that's what the hunter is. They sacrifice. Hunters sacrifice their families and everything to build.
Yes.
But it's like, can you sacrifice? Oh, I can't. I have this or I have this. Especially now with the work from home, they don't want to sacrifice. Oh, I have my kids at home, or this is going on. Like, do you want? Everybody can be comfortable. They don't want to grow. They just want to stay at that spot, right? Yeah. And my thing is, I want to empower everybody. I want to give them all the energy. I want you to succeed, because your success is my success, is the company's success, is your family's success. Everybody succeeds. Yeah. I want you to be the superhero you are, to be that. And that is the powerful thing of and it. You hit yourself against the wall sometimes. It's like, they're like, yeah. And all of a sudden, they don't know what's going on. They're like, why didn't you do this? I don't know. And
it's so true, though, isn't it? I think it's interesting as a business owner, just like yourself, Rob. It's trying to find someone who's got the same enthusiasm in the branding and the business itself. I've never found anyone who could do it, but it's having that raw passion that comes in. But it's the dream. It's 100% the dream, trying to get these people on board. I love it.
Well, hey, we're both leaders. We're both that's how we are. We have a passion. Of course, some people don't share that passion. We can give. They can take some of it. We have the passion to grow.
As much as you try and give it to someone else.
Pass off knowledge. I love to pass off free, and that can change someone's life. If I can change something, the direction or perspective they have, to create something that brings some happiness to them, I've done my job. I don't need monetary gain from that. I'm not looking for it. I'm like, I've done that job, to just like you place someone in a job that changes their life, their career. It's affirmation for you. Like, I did my job. That's what I'm there for. Right.
It's very nice when we get the appreciation for when we do this. So I, again, 100% love changing people's life. Getting someone a 10,000 pay rise in 1 year could be literally the difference between them losing their house to actually being able to find another mortgage and buy a bigger house later in time. It's interesting. It's very interesting. People have suffered over the last sort of 12 months, haven't they? It's not easy.
We all have. So now getting down to in the end of this, I wanted to ask you another question. It's like, what do you see? What is your insight, I would say, right now for the industry in general? I think you covered that a little bit. What do you see? We'll go 2 steps. What do you see the electronics industry going in the next year or next 2 years? What's your foresight of the structure and how everything's going?
Interesting. I was having this conversation, I think, yesterday with another client. I think between us, we actually agreed it's going to be a 2-year boom. I think minimum 2-year boom, where, again, as you heard probably in Germany, the car manufacturers had to push back production by quarter because they can't keep up with demand. Obviously, whenever we all had to work from home, everyone needed laptops, everyone needed electronic products. So again, these products can only be made through obviously manufacturing the electronic products. Then they need components to do that. So there is still a shortage in the market for it.
Correct.
How the market's going to develop over the next couple of years, I want to be an optimist and actually say people are going to diversify. One way we've done it ourselves within our process is we offer the opportunity to do a video intro to your resume/CV, So you can give some personality back when you're actually applying for a position that you generally want. This gives you a bit more of a buyer's journey, a bit more of an engagement opportunity. I know when I send them to you, Rob, you get to see the person first and then the resume second, instead of just seeing a piece of paper and just saying, it doesn't quite have what I want. So I think diversifying the hiring process is going to be key. I think understanding the transferables, like we said, getting a new generation people into the organization. So I want to call it fresh blood, because there are quite a lot of senior people in this market that are on near retirement age or will be thinking about, dare I say, passing on the torch in a couple of years. So we need to backfill the senior guys. Obviously, hopefully people are going to get promoted. Then we need to get some fresh talent back in. I think diversity is going to be key for the next 2 years, but I honestly think it's going to be a very, very buoyant market. So there's a lot of money to be made over the next couple of years. So everyone should be kind of knuckling down and understanding who they're going to target and just do the best they can.
I cannot agree more. And that's the macro version of, as I said, the more people you talk to, more companies you talk to, the industries you talk to, this insight is powerful. This insight should be shared to what's going on in the marketplace. And that's one thing, as I said, I stay curious. You are, people don't realize, as a recruitment company, you are the eyes and ears of really what's going on in the market.
We talk to the fit soldiers. We talk to the people that are there on day to day.
Going on the ground, from what markets? I know you're trying to get into more markets, going from Europe to US to Asia. You know all of this that's going on. You're talking to the challenges you face, the issues of recruitment, and then the business. Like, oh, business is great. Oh, this is what's going on, and we get in these conversations, and it's really fascinating. That's what recruitment companies should do, is to get that data, and of course they have clients to share the data with their clients to understand, and it's very powerful for branding, because you can be a voice in the industry. And that's what I like about you. That's why the first thing that turned me on to you is Michael Roberts should be a voice in the industry, because you're hearing it from everybody. You should be connected to more people. And that's where, as I said, your success is my success on that end. And that's I want to grow that has to be, right? Yeah. And that we've shared a lot of conversations, a lot of things going on, and I love it. I love what you're doing, and I wish you the best of success for 2020.
Vice versa. I know you're making pioneering moves, so thank you for also being
I'm doing the best I can, and trying to lead the way, and also staying positive at the same time.
Yes,
we all know some of those days. I mean, it's not see that wood wall. I hit my head against that wall. Right? It's like, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right move? That's honest. We all get to those points sometimes, right? We have a lot of pressure, especially in this pandemic that we're still living in. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of, so. But anyways, I want to thank you, Michael. Thank you for everything.
You are very welcome, Bob.
Catching up with you. I love catching up with you, and I look forward to doing this multiple times a year, just catching up what's going on in the industry, of the voice of the industry. Who's talking to the people?
Loads of people are talking. So if anybody has any questions or feel there's certain points we haven't covered on here, put some comments below, and I'll do my utmost to personally answer all those questions. But I'll do it over the next couple of days only, because, like I said, it is a very busy market at the moment. So I'll dedicate a bit of time to that if people got any other questions they want to ask.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you, and I look forward to speaking to you, and I will be speaking to you soon, actually. But overall. As I say, be smart, be thoughtful, be generous, everybody out there. Thanks, Michael. I'll talk to you soon.
Much love.
Bye.